perfect screen. Okay, perfect. तो ये मैं एग्जांपल के बस बनाया था, अपना पुरानी फाइल लोड कर लेंगे अपन लोग. ओके, पेट्स शीट 1. हाँ, तो ये अपन लोग बनाए थे अपन लोग कार्ड्स के ऊपर. और अगर मैं इंसर्ट पे गया, स्क्रीन anyway, मैं ज़रा अपना मॉडल खोल लिया. अगर मैं यहाँ इंसर्ट पे गया तो यहाँ पर अपने को पूरे रेकमेंडेड चार्ट, यहाँ पर पूरे जो भी चार्ट्स और चीज़ें अपन लोग इंसर्ट कर सकते हो दिखाता. तो अपन लोग पिवट टेबल्स डाल सकते, चार्ट्स डाल सकते, स्पार्क लाइन्स डाल सकते, वर्ड्स डाल सकते, टेक्स्ट बॉक्स डाल सकते, हेडर एंड फुटर, इक्वेशंस, सिंबल्स वैसे डाल सकते अपन लोग. like this. Okay, simple as that. Okay, my Excel crashed one more time. Okay, so the way this is supposed to work is we can select multiple values और अपन लोग उसके ऊपर चार्ट बना सकते हैं. So the way this works is you have to select the values using control and click to generate the graph. So usually it will generate from the one right next to it. तो अगर अपन लोग suppose last time अपने को क्या करना था, price और order quantity को compare करना था, right? So if we select price and then we select order quantity and then you make a suppose bar chart 2D column. 2D column. So it makes these series. Which if we look in the legend entries, right click select data, we will be able to see what these values are. So for number 6, series number 6, it is F6, so 20,000. अपने को ये खाली थोड़ा एक weird way दिखा रहा कि ये खाली ये है. We need to actually delete all of these series. So if you go from one spam minus, delete, and then okay, and then make your own series. Okay, and then in the series what we have to do is in the y values select order quantity, then press enter or press that button, and then if we press OK, okay, that's not working. Escape, delete. Okay, so let's try making a simple one by if we click C and then we go into insert and then we click this and that, we can basically see the sales quantity, but for some reason it's not inheriting the values, which is confusing. Right, okay, let's try the order quantity just normally. Insert. Excel charts are very weird. उनका अलग ही system है उनका. Command Z. From what I remember. Alright, let's see this. Click select data. Order quantity. Okay, so it's only the order quantity. And this is the name. So this is what it would look like on a different note. And then all of these variables just kind of link upwards. That's not what we want. We need to compare two different values. Excel does a pretty decent job of doing that. So the way अपन लोग भी कर सकते is if we just delete this graph by pressing the outside area and then delete. If we press insert, and then we can select our two important tabs, so that, and suppose we can go into suppose price, and if we press recommended charts and we make that, from what I know, this is basically the price, 0.1 value, 21,000. Okay, this is kind of weird still. This one actually doesn't have anything to do with the order quantity from what I remember. But from a from a standpoint like this, it should show. Okay, this is just confusing at this point. Okay. So the way I wanted it is, suppose we have the order quantity on the bottom, so the horizontal value. Maybe we could try that. Right click, select data. Okay, so there's a y value. So the column-wise values are checked here. And the way this works basically is it checks the cells and then adds the values. But we're trying to make this one on the X and this one on the Y. Usually the layout, from where I've seen it in the older versions, or I'm pretty sure also in the newer versions, it's a little bit different. थोड़ा अलग layout है इसका, और उसकी वजह से थोड़ा लोग easier भी बना दिए करना. Okay. We're trying to make this horizontal axis. So these are just the column number, right? Yeah. Column number 15 has a total price of $100,000, and this is $100,000. So these are just column numbers. We need to make these different. So if I right click and then I think select the data for this, and then make it order quantity. No, that's not working. Select data. And press OK. Right click, select data. For the axis labels, I'm pretty sure you can do. We just click this and then we can press the order quantity. And then if we put it down, press OK. Okay, now that's just weird. Okay. Let's see here. Troubleshooting. Select data. For this, instead of D1, what if we just did D? Just enter. Since that goes, yeah, so order quantity. So, okay, this is also weird because it's not sorted. Oh, I think that's just because we haven't sorted it, whatever. But this isn't the main point. As you can see, Excel is a very complicated thing. It takes some time to master Excel, but we aren't going to do all of that because it's not very important. There are still things we haven't covered, like summation. Sum basically just sums up multiple variables, so you don't have to keep adding them. And then there's VLOOKUP, and there's HLOOKUP. There's a lot of different things. लेकिन Excel के लिए आज अपन लोग यहाँ stop करने वाले हैं Excel का. क्यों बोल के बोला तो Excel is kind of just a beginner basic topic, kind of like an intro to the field. Okay. So what we are actually going to do though is we are going to download something called Tableau. Now bear with me, Tableau का थोड़ा अलग है download, okay? You want to go to Tableau products. Tableau के पास multiple products है, right? There's also something if you go into Tableau desktop, I think. Tableau pricing. Okay. If you go to Tableau public, I think, yeah. If you search up Tableau public, it'll take you to a different website. It's usually one of their products. I don't know why it doesn't show. Okay, no, there is just you just kind of have to search for Tableau public. Okay, if you go to Tableau public, this is just a complete differently just like a sublink. You can sign in. Okay, it will need you to sign in sometimes. So here what you need to do is you need to press create and then download Tableau desktop edition basically. And the way this works is ये अपना download form है, यहाँ पर आपका पूरा ये वो name ये वो डाल देना रहता। इसके पास system requirements भी रहते थोड़े, as you can see here. You need this for virtual environments, but for Windows 2 GB memory, 1.5 GB minimum free disk space. CPUs must support SSE 4.2 and POP-CNT instruction sets. Windows 8 plus Windows 8 to 11. And for Mac OS, these are your requirements. Okay. If you now go into create and then download Tableau Desktop Public Edition, and you can. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to sign in to download Tableau public. I actually don't think I have my account saved on Safari, so I have to log in from Chrome, which is what I'm going to do. So you guys, आप लोगों के लिए आप लोगों को account बना लेना पड़ता है if you go into create an account. आप लोगों को ये पेज पे दिखाता हूँ मैं, not this one, but rather this one. Just make an account over here, and as for me, I'm just going to log into my account. since I'm on this page, I can go into create, download Tableau Public Desktop Edition, and here we can see that this is the page we get. And if we go into if I have to go into sign in, you guys have to just sign in over here. And for me, I just press sign in. Just make an account for you guys. And I have to just download this. 15 seconds. Person now. It was public. Okay, yeah. So now it's gonna download. Okay. Sometimes it'll say pop-up blocked. Just allow it and then press done. And then save it. As for me, this might take some time. So, as for that matter, we will continue doing Excel. So let's continue. Wrong sheet. Okay, we'll just have to reopen it. File, open recent classes. Okay, so let's actually try to make one this time. If we click price, and then we insert a graph, just say we insert this graph, we right click this graph, press select data, and for the horizontal labels, we click here, we click from the name all the way to the last name, and then when we do that, and then we press enter, and we press this button, and then we press OK, we should get the price per car. And format plot area. Okay, that's just the format axes. And then, so basically what we're trying to do here is we are just trying to sort this. So I think if we just go into data and then, okay, so that doesn't work. Analysis tools. Okay. Right click. Select chart type. Column. There are also 3D column charts. They look something like this. So it's more like a 3D chart, if you will. You click this. I don't remember. Okay, wait. And then here is how you quickly switch the rows and the columns. Then move chart, cancel. This is where we can change our chart type. This is where we can get the various designs. So there's things like this, and if we just press Command Z over and over again, we can just go back to the original. And then quick layout. And so what we need to do is basically sort these values from greatest to lowest. So what we're saying is, so these values have some sort of increment, and then they have small values, and then they go up, then they go down. We don't want that. We just want it to go a smooth left to right. So the way we're going to go about this is we're just going to sort the values from lowest to highest in the chart, which is, I would hopefully say, a straightforward process, but it's very complicated. So the way it works first is some people would just select all of their data, and then including this, and then they would, this is a potential way to do it. If you're going to data, then you press sort, and then sort by price, smallest to largest. The cheapest car will come first, and then the most expensive car will come last. And all the values have been updated to match. So now this also reflects that, and it goes up like kind of a crescent. So yeah, apneku, this is more appealing, and we can actually get more information out of this than the other one. Let's see how good Tableau is doing. This one. Yes, there you go. Discover. Okay, yes, it's downloaded. Resume. Okay, whatever. That's gonna take a while. No problem though. So this is one graph that we've made. Okay. But now these are still unsorted, and this is not the best way to go about things. It would be better to just sort it inside of the graph, personally, because rounding it inside of the graph, so sorting it inside of the graph is something else, and sorting the entire data set is a different thing, because sometimes we have it grouped by these companies, and we don't want it to be ungrouped, so we keep it like that. So the way we're gonna go about this one is what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the chart type. We're gonna select the data again, and then in the select data source, from what I remember, yeah, select data source. So this is the dialog. We need to basically, there's two ways we can go about this. If we switch the row and column, we can manually reorder these based on lowest or highest prices, or we could use a helper column, but that's basically just the old way. This is why Excel graphs are kind of weird. They get a little tedious after a while. So let's see a pie chart with these with the tax, the profit, and the commission, and the dealership cut. So if we go into if we select these three values, so this and this to this, and we press insert pie chart. Most people like using 3D pies. I also like using 3D pies. You can also increase the gap like that, make it smaller, move it, make them farther apart. It's completely up to you. They're very highly customizable. And if you select the data, okay, so what happens if we press the green section? So this is based on columns, I think. So this is how much tax column number 15 took. But what we're trying to visualize is three different values. So if you come in here and we go into select data, I wonder what that would do. Oh, there you go. And then the tax is actually just, remove that. This is the total tax. and then this tiny blue sliver over here, this is your commission. So if we notice here, commission is also the smallest number going out anyways. The biggest number is the dealership cut because this is how much we paid. This is how much we need for the cars. And this is how much we make from the profit. This is how much we make from the total tax. This is the commission, which all adds up to this one total sales variable. Now this is for one of them, okay? For some of these, the commission is higher. If we look here, for this one, there's about 60% commission for whoever sells this, and they get $803,000. So we could, in fact, visualize all three of those. Just this value, just these three values. So the way we would do that is if we Command Z and then delete this one, just delete this one. Yeah, and then we insert a new pie chart. So let's just do 3D pie. And then what we can do, okay, my bad. You have to select your values first. So let's select this, this, and this, all four of those. And we can, so that those four. And if we go into insert pie, this is weird, but bear with me, because if you come in here, you go into select data, and then you switch the rows and columns, and then you press OK. Alright. Okay, no, I think this one was fine. Select data, switch row and column. Okay, I wonder what this blue section is. Series 1.3, series 1.2, value 2015. Okay, so we can rename these from what I remember. Yeah. Format legend entry. Okay, wait, the way this is supposed to work is if we go into select data, we click this, and then we click this, and then we shift click this, and then we press enter, press OK. We get an actual idea of how this works. So the total tax for this was not actually higher than the dealership cut. So the variables are kind of messed up. Series 0.1 is not supposed to be dealership cut, but instead series 0.1, series 0.1 is the dealership cut. 2 million. And then the tax is 3.168 million, right? Okay. I think this adds up. Yeah. So the smallest one here is the commission, but the commission itself is $803,000, and this all adds up to the total sales, which is $6,600,000. So that's how the charts in Excel work. They're not primarily used because it's kind of just it's a weird niche. Because there's better tools out there that make better looking graphs. So, and we can also get this nice percentage chart type, and then XM sales we can write here. Pie charts are one of the easier charts to make, as even in Excel, and charts are weird to make in Excel. We can also pie out the loss and the sales to see if we lost more or we gained more. Let's also do that. So if you select the total sales and the total loss, I think it's these two, total sales and total loss. And we can also add the price in there so we can see how much of a gap it made us. But whatever. If you click these two, go into insert, and then recommended charts for this one. It'll recommend a lot of them. We need pie charts. So if you come in here, and then if we do a 3D pie chart, again, it's weird right now, but all you have to do is right click, select data, and then press switch row column, press OK, and all your data will suddenly start to make sense. So as we can see, if we add percentages, so something like this, we can see that it's surprisingly a complete 40-60% loss versus sale. So this is basically just analyzing how much we lost and versus how much we sold. Considering this, our dealership probably is okay. Not really okay, but still pretty okay. But yeah, that's about it. And so that's about graphs. Anyone have any questions so far? I'm just stopping for questions. This is going to be very brief, by the way, since okay. So this also shows us how. So this shouldn't also be a 40% relationship in theory. Because 3 of them are not. So that's 1/5 basically, because there are 15 entries and 3 are not profitable. So that's 1/5, which is whatever. Okay, so we can do that. We can also compare. So sometimes this gets very crowded in this area. So what some people do is they will move this into your charts into different pages. You can do that. Like even right now, I can just drag this into wait, or I can't maybe. Yeah. So it's Excel again, very niche thing. See how much our progress is doing. Pretty nice. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to end the class right here.